Here's a cool way of looking at your week and your life is just think naturally, right? When you look at your week, you tend to gravitate towards like, ooh, I like this part of my week, or I don't like that part of my week, or even for a day, right? You might like the mornings. You say, I'm a morning person. You say, I'm a night owl, or I don't like the afternoon, right? Right after I eat lunch, I'm tired and I don't like that time. See, the downside with all of that is you're accepting your programming. You're accepting these thoughts of how you feel and how you should feel. Now, what's the danger of that? The danger of that is you're like shooting yourself in the foot every single day, multiple times. Because I used to think this, man. I used to think, oh, I'm definitely not a night person. I need to get to bed by a certain time, otherwise my day the next day is going to be ruined. And I had all these rules for my head based on this programming. Then I had a kid, right? Well, even just being a business owner, that goes out the window. Then you have a kid, it's like extra goes out the window. And I used to remember sometimes like our son would wake up at 2 a.m. and my wife would need me to comfort him back to sleep, which I have no problem doing. But if I wasn't careful, I would think, oh, my day's gonna be ruined tomorrow and I'm gonna have to sleep in, and then should I hit the snooze button? And it was this whole mental bullshit thing. As opposed to just realizing in every moment, what does it look like to direct myself to the best outcome? And remembering to breathe, and remembering to have clear goals that are aligned with the best outcome. Like that has helped me way more than any sort of bullshit. Oh, you're most productive at this time of the day. And you're like looking at all the data. It's like, stuff is just bullshit. It's just program system bullshit of, oh, you're, this and that. It's like, just make the most out of every moment of the day. And realize, yeah, you do need rest, okay? But it's way less rest than you were taught. And all these sleep experts and all this stuff, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, you gotta really see this point, that the people who are the so-called experts, they're an expert of some idea that was formulated in some lab that was not in touch with reality. Also, now factoring in the fact that everybody has programming from a bullshit system. So, how I look at it is I do extensive process on this. I reprogram my mind every day. I do my writing every day. I have my fundamentals that I know support me to change my programming, to change how I show up, and to allow me to express myself even better. And the things where I tend to think, oh yeah, afternoons, I'm typically tired in the afternoons. I don't like 1 p.m. Right? 1 p.m. is like my time where I'm just like, I just feel off. And instead of saying that and accepting that bullshit, because if I accept it, then I'll create it. Instead, I say, look, how can I make 1 p.m. equally my favorite time as all the other times? Like I like the mornings, right? I like waking up at 5 a.m. By 6 a.m. I'm drinking my coffee, I'm in my flow state, doing my thing. How can I make that just as cool as 1 p.m., as 4 p.m., as a Friday evening versus a Monday or a Tuesday morning versus 2 a.m. on a freaking Sunday night or 9 a.m. on a Wednesday morning, where it can all equally be as awesome because of who I am in the process. So I'm not accepting the bullshit system time thing and then reacting to that. I have changed enough, because I've been doing this for years, that now I can be my best self no matter what. Think about all the times you went to school and you had to wake up at 6 a.m. to get on the bus, and your mom's yelling at you to get out the door and take a shower, whatever, and you want to snooze. That stuff is trapped in you at a cellular level. That's the level you got to get rid of it at. And then you can start to, again, create in every moment. Like look at a tree. Does a tree care if it's 2 p.m. on a Tuesday or 4 a.m. on a Thursday? It does not matter to the tree. Yes, there are seasons, but that tree is always growing. Even in the winter, it's storing its energy in the roots. So it's always living, it's always giving. Sometimes that expression changes a bit based on what's happening in the environment, but it's always doing its thing. What if you were like that too? All right, test that today and really start to look at what are these times where you naturally are. It's subconscious stuff where you're like, I hate the afternoons, or I love the afternoons, I hate the mornings, or I love Sundays, but then I get anxious on Sunday evenings because the work week starts. It's like I've looked at a lot of these points for myself. A lot of this stuff is subconscious, but it'll come to the surface now that you're hearing this. Really start to look at that and then ask yourself, what is the best day? What is the best week? What is the best month? What does the best year look like? But truly the best. Not just what you think feels the best, but what actually is going to be best for you and for everyone around you and for the world.